Welcome to the program. This is GHToday News on GH1 Television. My name is Ridwan Karim Dini Osman. Remember, this broadcast is coming to you live from our Platinum High studios here at Northridge in Accra. The IGP has shaken up his top hierarchy and reassigned a few top goons. Dr. George Ekufu Dampare, Director General of Police Operations, has been reassigned by the Inspector General of Police, David Asante, to head the Research and Planning Department. He is to be replaced immediately by the Eastern Regional Police Commander, DCOP Simon Afeku. 9 others have also been reassigned to take up various positions across the country. This shakeup comes in the wake of deteriorating security in the country, especially as armed robbery cases have been rising steadily across the country. Meanwhile, security expert Emmanuel Soate has criticized the police on its knee-jerk response to the spate of armed robbery in the country. Now, the police administration yesterday changed command positions of some of the top goons in an apparent reaction to increasing armed robbery cases. But Soate says a shake-up will not necessarily translate into results on the ground.
The immediate interventions are counterproductive in the long run. And let me explain in simple terms. When you want to deal with a problem, you want to make sure that the right people are in the right places. But then that comes at different levels. So who are the station officers? Who are the district commanders? Who are the divisional commanders? Who are the regional commanders? How do they get to those positions? Are they adequately prepared for those positions? Yes, some are without a doubt. But I think some can also be supported. Sometimes too, you might have not a coterie of leaders, but you might have a group of police personnel. They might have different capabilities. Okay, and so it is up to the institution with time to start thinking appropriately about how, for example, when you have people passing out, who are the best for signals, who are the best for operations, who are the best for intelligence, who are the best for analysis. Because if you put the round peg in square hole, sometimes you have problems. In this particular case, I think that the assurance will come from more police personnel.
The Ashanti Regional Medical Store risks collapse over the NHI's inability to honor debts owed the facility. Management of the Ashanti Regional Health Directorate is appealing to government to facilitate immediate release of funds to settle these debts.
Health officials in the Ashanti region say the operations of the regional medical stores could soon grind to a halt if government fails to take immediate steps to address the facility's high indebtedness. According to officials, some medical drug suppliers have been reluctant to honor requests made by service providers for certain essential supplies for service delivery. According to the Ashanti Regional Director of Pharmacy, Dr. Alhaji Kofi Barrier, failure to pay service providers would be the medical store's undoing. Dr. Kofi Barrier told GH1 News they are not getting constant supply of drugs from their private suppliers on credit anymore due to its almost 24 million cedi indebtedness.
There's no shortage. You can't get 100% stock throughout the year. You can't get it. This performance was on 2017, so we're accounting for what we did 2017 as at December 2017. And as at that time, tracer drug availability was 66%. When we want to talk about the indebtedness, we, the medical stores, don't deal directly with the patients. It's the hospitals that pick the products from us. So it's the hospitals that are owing us. And some are, you asked about the quantum of money. Currently, for drugs, it's about 18 million Ghana cedis. For non-drug consumables, it's about 5.5 million Ghana cedis.
The problem of the Ghana Health Service in Ashanti region extends to lack of logistics as well. Checks from the Ashanti Regional Health Directorate indicates that out of 30 districts in the region, only about 10 have vehicles to carry out its activities effectively. The health specialist says the situation affects effective control of disease outbreaks at the various districts. Dr. Akwesie Wudi-Yeboah, Deputy Director of the Ashanti Regional Health Directorate, is therefore calling on government to ensure more vehicles are released to the facility to promote effective health care in the region.
For the outreach, the community health nurses and the disease control officers, some of them can even take passenger cars. And it is difficult, but they manage like that. Where the issue is really is monitoring and supervision. I mean, the district director doesn't go and visit the districts, the sub-districts, because he doesn't have vehicle. Supportive supervision is not adequate. Things do not go very well.
From the Ashanti region, let's come to Accra, where the NDC Member of Parliament for Kumbungu, Ras Mubarak, has accused the Education Ministry of wastefulness in a decision to spend over $370,000 for leadership training of 13 national service personnel at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. According to the Member of Parliament, the amounts could have been put to better use if the training was done locally. In answering questions on the floor from the Kumbungu MP, Education Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh justified that the $370,000 expenditure, saying that the training was important for the organizations the personnel were drawn from. However, speaking to GH1 News, Ras Mubarak argued the minister's justification is untenable. The member of Public Accounts Committee disclosed he has referred the matter to the Education Committee for action.
Ask leadership to make sure that they are members on the Committee of Education. Take this up, because if the committee decides to take it up and investigate it and probe it further, because other members even had questions about the composition of the participants, of the 13 members. YEA alone is sitting on a lot of money, legitimately. So why must National Service Secretariat pay monies for YEA staff who are joining a program under the auspices of NSS?
Technical University Teachers Association across Ghana has sent out a strong indication that they will be striking today, which is March 2. This comes on the back of an impasse between the association and the Education Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, over attempt to amend portions of Act 922, which established the technical universities.
The Technical University Teachers Association is in court to challenge the Education Minister over attempts to amend portions of the Technical Universities Act 922. The association argues that amending Section 23, 24 and 27 of the Act will not only cede the administrative functions of the technical universities to the National Council of Tertiary Education, which by law is only supposed to act as an advisory body, but will also make both teaching and non-teaching staff temporary workers.
If the bill is passed in its current form, the technical universities cannot establish a department or faculty or hostels without the approval of the National Council for Tertiary Education. And this is clearly contradictory if one looks at Section 6 of the Principal Enactment, Act 922, which confers the power to undertake such assignments to the governing councils of the technical universities.
President of Takrady Tutag, Peter Awenisedu, says the move to strike has been necessitated by the uncompromising stance of the Education Minister, Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, on the subject. According to him, both teaching and non-teaching staff are demoralized by the minister's actions, hence the need to embark on a sit-down strike.
The frustration and anger of the employees have reached the point where they are no longer willing, or they don't feel happy enough to perform their normal duties, and are therefore willing to embark upon a sit-down strike. The Minister of Education doesn't appear to be willing to agree to any dialogue. His recent comments on radio and television suggest so.
You're watching GHToday News on GH1 television. My name is Ridwan Karim Dini Osman. The Ghana Health Service has confirmed the death of a 26-year-old man said to have been infected with Lassa fever. This is the first case recorded in the country since the outbreak of the disease in neighboring Nigeria and some other West African countries. The service is, however, cautioning the public to adhere to actions towards prevention and protection against further spread, as it enhances surveillance at the various points of entry in the country.
Ghana confirmed its first case of Lassa fever at the Tema metropolis in the Greater Accra region. The infected person, a 26-year-old man, according to the statement issued by the Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Service, was rushed to the Tema General Hospital with general body weakness, severe headache and joint pains, profuse vomiting of blood with clots. The patient is said to have come to Tema from the Kintampo North District about a few weeks ago. His blood sample, which was later taken to the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, was investigated and confirmed Lassa fever. The patient, who died in the early hours of Wednesday, 28 February 2018, was managed in the facility's isolation unit and later moved to the Infectious Disease Center at the Tema General Hospital. A visit to the hospital early Thursday morning showed a calm atmosphere and management in a crunch meeting. Most people interacted with also appeared ignorant.
Information to the public is well controlled as far as this particular hospital is concerned. Even among the hospital staff, you go to them and they will not open up. The only thing that I have been told is that a unit has been set to quarantine the hospital staff, and apart from that, here at the administration block, they're also having a crunch meeting on the matter.
The Ghana Health Service has initiated a contact tracing and follow-up process to prevent an outbreak since the patient traveled to the Eastern, Volta and Bono Ahafo regions. Lassa fever is an acute viral infectious disease which is endemic in West Africa. Early symptoms of the disease include fever, general weakness and malaise. After a few days, headache, sore throat, muscle pain, chest pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, cough and abdominal pain may follow. It is transmitted to humans through contact with the urine, saliva, feces and blood of rodents. Ghana had earlier in 2011 confirmed few cases of Lassa fever in Ashanti and Eastern regions.
Let's now take you to the Ghana Health Service, where we know that yesterday officials were cooped up in meetings the whole day discussing the outbreak of the Lassa fever and how to safeguard the public. My colleague William Evans Inkum has been speaking to Dr. Insia Asari. Have a look.
What has become of the health workers at Tema General Hospital when they were actually handling this particular patient? What is the current development on there?
Current development, the region have met them. Tomorrow I also will go there and meet them. What we are doing, we have come out with protocols and then we are following them for the next few weeks, because the incubation period is between 2 to 21 weeks. So we follow them after 3 weeks. If they don't have any fever, no signs and symptoms, then they are free. As I said, it's not coming in contact makes you have the disease.
Okay.
You can even have the Lassa fever in your system, but you won't exhibit any signs and symptoms, and you build antibodies. So we are giving them psychological support, and we have also informed them that we have the antiviral ready in case we have anybody whose temperature goes, and we test it twice and it goes above 37.5 quickly, we take them to lab samples and start.
You have a number of district hospital health posts and what have you. This particular case even came all the way from the Bono Ahafo region. Have you resourced your health posts, your district hospitals, to ensure that at least at that stage be able to curtail any escalation?
Yes. The first important thing is alert. So that, you see, the most important thing is to catch the disease and catch it from the early stages. When you catch it from the early stages, then you can manage it and they get well. That's the most important. You don't wait for it to become chronic issue, and then they get all the disabilities and then even die from it. Another important thing is to get the equipment to protect the health of those who are treating them. The next thing is also to get the necessary medications. And then above all, the most important thing is prevention. So all our districts, all our regional hospitals, everybody is.
You're still watching Ghana's most comprehensive 30 minutes of television breakfast news. We'll return shortly with business. The Ghana Revenue Authority has given business operators a 3-month ultimatum to comply with the tax stamp policy, which is aimed at ensuring that authentic products are sold to the public. This was agreed on after the Ghana Revenue Authority enforcement team hit town earlier yesterday to do some checks. Have a look.
Stamps are small stickers with security features supplied by government to some manufacturers and importers to be affixed on their product before they are released onto the market. In Ghana's case, the stamps must appear on tobacco, alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks, bottled water and textile product. However, most of the shops visited, including Oxford Street ShopRite and Kuala, claimed they had no prior information to the tax stamp. Other shop owners also explained the stock was old. They promised to affix the stamp once stock ran out. The GRA team and the shop owners agreed on a 3-month period to sell out the old stock and affix stamp.
Enforcement started today, but now we did not want to use the opportunity to educate them to voluntarily comply with the situation. We have directed them to our offices, that GRA offices, where they can apply with their stock level of goods that they don't have the tax stamp and apply for it.
The policy will enable the GRA to effectively monitor the payment of excise tax by registered manufacturers and importers and close the loopholes in the administration of excise tax in Ghana. The tax stamp policy forms part of government's efforts to address the counterfeiting product on the Ghanaian market and to improve revenue assurance.
There are a lot of people who will manufacture in the night, and before dawn, the products are already on the market. So if you are trying to, catch them on the manufacturing premises, you will not. So go to the field. We are going to move from shop to shop, cover every place of the nation. Even places that we think we will not go, officers will go there and make sure that we have the stamps on the products.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Free Zones Board, Michael Ochiri-Berfi, has said his outfit will soon implore the assistance of the Ghana Armed Forces to ensure maximum security within the enclave. Speaking to GH1 Business after a meeting with the Chief Executive Officers operating in the enclave, Michael Ochiri-Berfi said the move has become necessary following a series of robbery cases reported by business owners in the enclave.
Michael Ochiri-Berfi, who was responding to some complaints from some chief executives operating within the Free Zones enclave, assured investors that his outfit was charting a new strategy to improve its operations and change its face in the eyes of investors. He added that a new monitoring unit has been set up to monitor the activities of Free Zones enterprises to ensure that they are adhering to all obligations within the enclave. The policing mandate of the unit will also enable it to identify problems faced by Free Zones enterprises for quick resolutions. He noted an IT unit has also been made more robust and expanded into a management information system department to create the needed platform to implement a paperless system and ensure that documents are submitted online while improving the turnaround time in processing returns. Michael Berfi used the opportunity to explain to critics why the board delayed in issuing licenses to prospective investors within late 2017 and early 2018.
The board was constituted in October. The Free Zones operate an executive board system. So if you're a CEO, you cannot work on your own. You need a board to work with. I started work in February, but my board was constituted in October. Therefore, we had to wait for the board to come. But thankfully, as of now, we have been able to license about 10 companies, which is very phenomenal. I mean, it doesn't normally happen. And we are still meeting, working on trying to license other companies that want to become Free Zones.
On the issue of security, the CEO of the Free Zones Board said they intend securing the assistance of more private security officers while providing a military depot to beef up security in the Tama enclave.
Cocoa remains a major contributor to Ghana's economic growth. However, illegal mining is threatening that position as it robs farmers of arable lands. In fact, the Institute of Democratic Governance (IDEC) report miners have invaded about 1.7 million hectares of cocoa lands, destroying large tracts of cocoa farms, all in the name of gold exploration.
Cocoa farmers in Ghana continue to lose their farms to activities of illegal miners. This over time has left the farmers unemployed and poor. Similarly, young people in cocoa growing areas have lost interest in farming. They have also turned to galamsey in some cases. These developments have culminated in shaving down cocoa production. Project Officer of IDEC, Elaine Godigans-Lati, reports cocoa production fell short last year as compared to 2016. According to her, galamsey activities in a community such as Mantukwa in the western region was not only affected by their cocoa farms, but also the health conditions of many individuals.
We are not only focusing on cocoa, but it's a very holistic program that ensures that the very aspects and different aspects of community well-being is being catered for. Okay, so we are looking at galamsey as an issue, and because it's very pressing and because it's affecting the community members, we found it very important to bring it to the attention of government. Government is doing significantly very well in clamping down this galamsey activity, but we want government to intensify its efforts.
Some farmers have no choice than to exchange their cocoa farms for cash from miners.
Just imagine, I have spent like 6-7 years cultivating the cocoa. You sold it for a small amount that cannot take you to anywhere. But because you are not willing to sell, but the farm, because the land belongs to the chiefs, you don't have any option. So we just said it.
Cocoa ni de kuye mumbat. Ubeti bewi na ube hatana awewi na roda cars ebeba befa. Cocoa no diakon road no enkoye nti sometimes area rain season nsuo betimi ata kan be fa cocoa ni kra na waka ekwan so.
Up next, we bring you international news. The main trading partners of the U.S. have reacted angrily after President Donald Trump announced plans to impose tariffs on steel and aluminium import. Canada and the EU said they would bring forward their own countermeasures to the steep new tariffs. Mexico, China and Brazil have also said they are weighing up retaliatory steps. Mr. Trump tweeted that U.S. had been decimated by unfair trade and bad policy. He said steel import would face a 25% tariff and aluminium 10%. However, critics argue that the tariff would fail to protect American jobs and would ultimately put up prices for consumers. The news sent shares in Asia down on Friday, with Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 losing more than 2% by mid-morning. Shares in Japan's car-making giant Toyota were down more than 2%, and Nippon Steel stocks down more than 4%. Toyota said the U.S. decision would adversely impact automakers, the automotive supplier community and consumers. It's time to bring you the weather update. All right, that'll be it for this morning's edition of GHToday News on GH1 Television. My name is Ridwan Karim Dini Osman. Many thanks for watching, but do join the news team at 11:30 for more news updates. The show continues.
Our special reports go beyond barriers.
The government forces were firing from that torched building, and then the rebels were also returning fire from this place.
The frustration that shows on the faces of many commuters is an indication of their anticipation.
Introducing our weekend edition of the news. If you could not catch us in the course of the week, catch us on the weekend. It's crisp, authoritative, and original. No. Trust our reporters to bring you up-to-the-minute information, whether it's breaking or developing. Our reporters will fish it out.
So we're just going to stand here and watch how this car burns to ashes without...
Our cameras never miss any action. Weekend edition starts March 3, 2018. GH1 News. News you can